inside there, and it can extend out to the length of his body. Yeah, so that's how you can actually frame your shot nicely to get a shot with the right shutter speed. Okay, so moving on from here, I would ask you to also try if you can go down to your eye level. Okay, so a very quick tip. As you can see, like animals like that are small, but then when you go down very low, you have this interpersonal connection with it. Okay, it's always hard to actually, even in the wild, okay, it's very hard to get a clean shot and very hard to have an eye connection. So it's always trying to aim for that eye connection shot. Okay, yeah, most of the time you could be shooting 1,000 photos, for example. You may have only 1 or 2. Yeah, so you know, yeah, sometimes that happens, but you want the eye connection shot. Okay, yeah. So and then my recommended settings for you for my cameras where I use and I go around is for beginners. If you are really new in the alpha journey, you may want to look at the S mode to start with. Okay, and then as more established as you go along, get onto the M mode, okay, which is the manual mode. The S is the shutter priority. Okay, so I use the M mode, and then use the AFC at all time. Okay, your try mode will be the AFC mode at all time, because then your autofocus will go into all-time continuous focus. Okay, full time. Yeah, and it will help you to find your subjects. Okay, and then use only 2 focus mode. So this is a little secret that I use. So what happens is, you know, there are various focus mode, right, in your camera. You have the wide, you have the zone, you have the expand flexible spot, the single point, etc., etc. So I only use 2, and I set a limit to it. So I only use expand flexible spot and the zone in order to get my shot. And then I configure a single button on my camera, okay, using switch focus area, okay, set switch focus area mode to a custom button, example the C1. So the C1 button is just right in front of the shutter button. When I press that, it just changes my focus area. Okay, yeah, so that may be something that you want to do if you really want to shoot really, really fast. Okay, yeah. And use AF on for autofocus. So what happens for wildlife photographer or sports, you know, this is a personal preference really, okay? But I would recommend that you use the back button at the back, the AF on, for your autofocus, okay? And leave the shutter button just to take your picture, so that when you half press and your shutter button, your camera doesn't try to find focus all the time. Okay, yeah, so that is something food for thought for you. So that's what I also use. And the drive mode will go either on the H or the H+. So if you are using the A1, for example, or the A12 or the A93, you will be on the H+. Okay, because then you are actually using the camera at its best settings. And for the rest of the cameras, like the RS series, okay, I would recommend you to go on the H mode. Okay, where then you can actually see your action live. Okay, yeah, so that would be the difference for the different drive modes that you use. Now finally, okay, use auto ISO. That's what I always do for my shots. Okay, you might say that, hey, Julian, why don't you set a fixed ISO? Try to bring the ISO as low as possible. Okay, I tell you what is happening in the field. When you're shooting, a lot of the time, the action is only there for a split second. Maybe if you're lucky, a couple of seconds and it's gone. Imagine I use that time to set my ISO. What happened? You lost the shot, right? Yeah. So I always believe in using auto ISO with the newer cameras. In the old generation, if you ask me this 5 years ago or 10 years ago, then the answer is no, you set a fixed ISO. But nowadays, the cameras are so good, okay? So I always set the ISO for what I shoot, and I set a range of between 100 to 25,600. Okay? 100 to 25,600. So when you set your shutter speed to a very fast number, say for example, like 1/4,000 you realize your ISO may be very high. 12,800, 16,000, you know, you may have issues with the processing. But really, don't worry, okay? Like I said, remember this, the most important thing is to get your picture sharp first, okay? If it's a little bit soft because of the ISO, you can still rescue it later on via your post-processing. And I just want to show you a very simple shot here, okay? A very simple one. If you can see, this shot over here is basically done with ISO 12008. Can you see that? Okay, and you may tell me, say, Julian, I don't really like it because I can see like noise here. Right? Can you see the noise? Here we are. Quite clear, right? Okay, and then there's also like noise in the eyes. Okay, and I just want to show you one very simple thing that I did. I didn't even do any processing to this, except one. Okay, I used one of the third-party software to see how good it is. So one of the denoise software, you know, without touching anything else. Just going through the denoise software and you see what happens. Can you see that? This one. Okay, versus this. Look at the noise now. Everything's gone at 12,008. So these guys, basically, they have nothing to do, okay? They only have time on their hands to further develop their software every day, every day. You know, before you know it, 3 months down the road, you shoot 25,600 and you don't have problem with the shutter speed anymore. Yeah. So my advice is, chances are there and you don't get many chances to shoot, okay? Make sure that you make every shot count. Just make sure that you get your shot and then it's sharp and you come back and you do your post-processing and you won't have problem with it, okay? Yeah, so that's what it is. And finally, the last tip that I want to share with you is this, okay? Sorry. Stop moving. Okay, there you go. Okay, so when you're shooting the exposure compensation, on your camera there, somewhere in your settings, depending on the model that you use, there is this exposure compensation button that you can set, okay? Now, when you're shooting something like a bird or a chameleon that is white in color, you tend to overexpose it, okay? That's where you need to bring down your exposure to minus, at least -1, okay? So that you can see details in the feathers. So sometimes when you bring it down to minus, you will actually realize that, hey, you know, why is my shot looks a little bit underexposed? Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, remember this, as long as you shoot it raw, it doesn't matter. Okay, what is most important is to keep the details in place, and then you can do your post-processing later on to bring it back. Okay, but don't shoot overexposed. Remember, don't shoot overexposed. Once you lose the details in the overexposed, the white area, you are not going to get it back that easily. Okay, so you will always try to shoot it slightly underexposed, and then you can do your post-processing later to bring it back. Yeah, so like in these two cases that you see there. Okay, so especially the one on the left side is a little bit more tricky because you have another subject that is darker in color, and then you have like the subject that is white. So in this case, you have to make a choice. Okay, you have to make a choice. Which subject is more important? Yeah. Is it my enemy out there, you know, the one that I hate the most, is more important, or, you know, the subject at the bottom? So if the subject at the bottom is more important, then you make sure that it's correctly exposed. Okay? And then you realize the other guy tends to be a little bit more brownish. Alright? Yeah. So that's the difference of that. Alright, so with it, I have actually shared quite a number of things with you guys in this very short session because we are just doing like half an hour or so. Yeah, so I hope that you managed to get some quick tips out of this of what exactly we do in the field, okay, and what settings we use. Okay, with that, I'd like to actually open up for questions. Okay, so are there any questions that anyone want to raise or want to ask?
Okay, yes, Q&A time. I think we've got time for about 2 to 3 questions. Anybody would like to ask anything to Julian? I'll come to you. Just raise your hands, let me know. Any questions, queries? Okay, here.
Hi, thanks a lot, Julian.
Hello.
Your owl picture, for example, if you are underexposed because you want to get the feathers and the whites not to get blown out, right? Then you have a problem with the eyes. So how would you try to address those competing interests? Because say you want to have more details, you want to get the dark of his eyes, you got to get a little bit more detail there. So do you try that? Do you think that HDR settings are worth using?
Okay, I think thank you. That's a wonderful question. You are right. Actually, if you find the intricate balance of not going via the wholesale setting like -1, -2, and you tweak a little bit, you will be able to get to the right point. But what happened for a lot of wildlife photographers, let me tell you, like for example, photographers in the States and somewhere else, okay, it may be something that we haven't really heard a lot over here. It's actually the use of field flash. Okay, it's the use of field flash. The light going in just nicely touching the eye, and that's it. It doesn't disturb the animal, doesn't disturb the bird, but it gives you a more contrasty, sharp photo. Okay, and field flash is not easy to master. Okay, it's not easy to master, but a lot of the time, even myself, sometimes I use field flash. But just remember that I mentioned earlier, field flash, you have to use it ethically. Okay, don't go at night and you see the owl in the tree, okay, and then you set your flash to full blast and you try to blow the guy off the tree. Alright, okay? That is very bad. So when you want to use flash, point it to a side, flash a few times, okay, let the subject be prepared that you are going to do this, and then later on when you realize that you turn back and you start to use the flash, it doesn't affect it anymore, and then it's very helpful with people in their life. Yeah, okay, so I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. We have time for a couple more. Anyone else would like to ask anything relating to wildlife photography or anything about Madagascar, dangers of shooting in the wild, anything you'd like to ask? Gear also can. Normal as well. Any questions? Still thinking about it?
So far, no one has been eaten by a lemur. Madagascar is a safe country. You can walk at night.
Hi Julian, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I just want to know, because I'm going to Madagascar in May.
Okay.
So what's the terrain like in terms of, walking, in terms of, is it up and down, hilly? These will be concerns when you have gear. And also, like we all know the 200 to 600 is pretty heavy, right? But it is a very useful lens to capture your birds and some of the close-up. So how much of the terrain will matter in terms of what kind of gear you carry?
Thank you for the question. So what happens in Madagascar is it really depends on the area that you're going to. Most of the places are flat, but there are some hilly areas that you go. So imagine that you are there like, okay, take the terrain like Bukit Timah Hill. You all have been to Bukit Timah Hill, right? It's exactly the same. Okay, Bukit Timah Hill, but the only difference is the weather is more cooling. It's not humid. Okay, so when you walk, it's a much better walk. But then expect the terrain to be as such, like Bukit Timah Hill. Yeah. So and if like the lens is heavy, what happens is a quick tip is you can hire a porter. You can hire a porter to help you carry the lens, and you just need to pay about 10 euro, okay, which is about $14. Or sometimes even if you pay just a 10 Sing dollars, you'll be very happy. Yeah, and you can carry your bag and carry your camera for you at the same time. Okay, and give them some employment, some job to do. Okay, yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I think we have another one here, right? Okay, already answered. Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to ask. I think we got time for one last question. Still formulating how to phrase it. Oh, okay, in a minute.
Alright, good to see you, Julian, again.
Hello.
Right, so here's something interesting with inclement weather, so wet weather. How do you waterproof your gear?
Fantastic. Okay. So the only thing is that I technically tell you the truth. Okay, nothing but the very truth is I don't waterproof my gear. Okay, so even in heavy rain when I shoot, I find that my camera body with the lenses, I don't have problem. Okay, yeah, so even in very dusty condition, I use the G Master lenses. The dust, I never have problem with my equipment. Yeah, the only thing is that I make sure I always have a hot shoe cover. Okay, a hot shoe cover on my camera body because that has some exposed electronic contacts, right? Yeah, so you just want to make sure that that is covered. Okay, but otherwise, I shot in heavy rain and stuff like that. No issues at all. Yeah, I mean it's good lah. You know that I encounter rainy weather quite a bit. I never have any problem. So just for those of you who basically sometimes you encounter that, obviously you will have a better peace of mind if you have like a lens coat or a lens cover, something like that. Yeah, but in the things that I do or the job that I do, sometimes you just want quick access to your equipment, and these covers may impede your action. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that if I'm moving from place to place, then I'll just put it under my clothes, okay, and just carry with it. Yeah, otherwise then it's fine. Sometimes if it's too wet, I'll just wipe it dry a little bit. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, we've got a sudden surge of questions over here. We'll take this.
Hi, Julian. Thanks for the talk.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
one question. I think the lady is carrying the 600 and you carry 600. All this gear costs a lot of money. What is your insurance plan? I can share mine if you allow me later.
Yeah.
I would like to hear your point.
Sure, okay. As far as to my limited knowledge of here, because I don't really spend too much time in Singapore, okay, I haven't been able to find a very good insurance company that can cover everything. Usually it's tagged on to home insurance, okay, yeah, and then your gear are with it. But you don't really have like a photographic or a photographer's insurance package that you insure your lenses. Yeah, so yeah, for me, I think I've been traveling something like 30 years. I'm quite lucky. I never had problem with losing my gears, but I've heard of horror stories happening. So that is the thing. But unfortunately here, I share with you is that I try to be careful, but I seriously don't have that insurance package. Yeah.
Can I share with you? I have insurance package that I claim $60,000 worth.
Wow, okay.
Okay, I lost my equipment during a tornado hit. I was hit by a tornado while chasing it. I was in Antarctica, I lost some gears and stuff like that. So there are insurance packages in Singapore that you can buy. Yes, it's attached to your home package. It's not expensive. I paid about $1,000 a year. That's about it. To even claim $60,000 for $1,000 premium a year, that is considerably worthwhile. If anybody wants to, I can respond to that later about that.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I think it's invaluable because this will be something that a lot of people, I'm sure they'll be interested to look at. Yeah, because people like us, for example, when we travel, it's easily $50,000, $60,000 of gear, right? Yeah, wherever we are on the trip. Yeah, so thank you. Yes, we'll be really happy to talk to you on that to find out more. All right. So thank you everyone. Are there one last question? One last question.
Okay, hi Julian.
Hello.
So I was looking at your gear selection. It seems that you have a preference towards the A1, A705, which is high level. So what do you think about A93 as a very fast camera, 120 fps for wildlife, and better ISO and high ISO? I mean, better image quality and high ISO. So what's your take on it?
Okay, the A93 personally for me, okay, let me tell you sometimes when I shoot in Africa, what kind of configuration I use so that you will get a very good understanding. I use the A1, okay, on the 600mm with a 2x teleconverter on the APS-C mode, extending up to 1800, okay, to get my wildlife. So imagine it's that far. Okay, the A93, I think that is a very good camera. My style of shooting is I usually crop at the time where I take the picture and not going back to computer to do the cropping later on. So the A93 will be beautiful. But then, if you are the kind of shooter where you use the A93, shoot the bird, very spoil the frame, and you go back and you try to crop it, it may be a challenge, to bring up the shot later on. Yeah, so it really depends on the style of your photography. But A93 has some of the features that, I really like dying for. But just remember this, is that at the end of the day, it's you, the photographer, who need to know what is happening in the field and how to react to it. Okay? So you may have the best gear, but the guy behind operating it is not there, you still don't get shot. Okay? So remember to train up your photographic skills. Okay, that is the most important factor. Okay? Right. So thank you, Robin.
Thank you so much, Julian. Everybody can give one more round of applause.